On your students' homework tonight, they're going to be solving multiple ways these two-digit by two-digit multiplication problems that are kind of extended of the original fact. So the original fact, if you look at 130 times 60, is an extended fact of the original fact of 3 times 6, which your students have been working to memorize. So what we're asking students to do here is show multiple ways to solve. So here, the first part, what you're going to see is 3 tenths times 6, which is asking you to build an array in the place value chart. So 3 tens looks like this, but then you can see we need 6 rows of that. So we can see here the 6 rows of 3 tens. So remember, because these values are 10, this is saying 3 times 6, but it's 3 tens. 3 tens, remember, is like the number 30. So we want to think of this as like 30 times 6. So knowing that 30 times 6, the total here is 180. We also know that we need to show it 10 times more. One of the things that your child has been learning over the past few weeks is the connection between place values. Knowing that the place value to the right, the one to its left, is always 10 times greater. So to show 180 or 3 tens times 6 and make it times 10, we'd simply move this grid into here. So you can have your child redraw the discs. I'm just going to redraw this, but remember it's 3 tens times 6, now 100 more, or 10 times more. So when we move them here, 180 10 times more is 1,800. So that's going to be the answer that we place in each of these. No matter how the multiplication problem is rewritten, whether it's 30 times 60, 3 tens times 6 times 10, 30 times 6 times 10, or 30 times 60, we know that the total, the product of all of those, is 1,800. Then below that, it's asking you to draw the area model. Again, the area model is just what I showed you up here, that rectangle. So we know it's 30, so we can call this 30 long, or 30 wide, 60 long. That's just simply showing the area. And the formula your child has been working with area is area equals length times width. Again, the product or the answer to this is going to be the same because the factors are the same. It's still 30 and 60. The next 4 problems are like this. So problem 1, 2, 3, problem 4. So continuing to draw the area model, having them solve, just seeing the numbers multiple ways. Like I said again here, 4 tens times 6 tens is the same as 40 times 60. It's just in a different form. When you get to the bottom here, where it's asking you to rewrite the equation in unit form, this is something we worked on in class. Unit form means taking out the unit and then multiplying the place value. So for instance, on number 5, 50 is actually 5 times 10 as well. This is what we call unit form. We see the number, which we'll call the unit, and then times the place value. So your student is not changing the value when they make it 5 times 10. That's still equal to 50. So for that, again, unit form, if I come down here and show you the unit form of the problem, it would be 5 times 10. I'm going to do the same thing with 20. I'm going to call it 2 times 10. The reason that we have students do that is because then once they have it in unit form, they can see the original fact. The original fact is the thing that we're working on at home to get memorized, the 5 times 2, the 2 times 6, those numbers that they should know automatically, the multiplication. We move those to the front of the problem and move the place value, or the 10 times, or in other cases 100 times, to the back. We ask students to then solve the original fact, so they'd solve here and then here. It just makes the problem a little simpler for them, and it also lets them see how when they're multiplying, if they know their original fact, they can do any problem and just include the place value of those numbers. So here they know that 5 times 2 is 10. They know that 10 times 10 is 100. So you can see how this simplifies the problem from 50 times 20. And then they know 10 times 1 is 10. And then because 100 is 100 times bigger than 1, we want to make our product or answer 100 times bigger. So this is the unit form right here where they take out the unit and the place value. And then, like I said, they rearrange the original fact to the front, keeping the place value numbers involved in the equation but moving them to the back, solving each of these as a simpler problem, and then solving the 10 times the number 1 and then thinking how place value impacts their answer.